Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of our late-night drama series, where the glitz of Bravo meets the grit of Southern sass in a showdown that's got everyone from Hollywood Hills to Tennessee trailers buzzing like a hive of angry hornets on a hot July afternoon. Picture this, the clock strikes 9 on a balmy summer evening in New York City, the kind where the humidity clings to your skin like a bad ex who won't take the hint. And the set of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen is humming with that electric pre-show energy that could power a small southern town through a power outage. Andy Cohen, the king of Bravo himself, dapper as ever in his signature velvet blazer that screams "I'm fabulous and I know it," struts onto the stage with that trademark grin that's equal parts charm and mischief, ready to dive into another night of celebrity chit-chat, cocktail confessions, and the occasional shade-throwing that keeps viewers glued to their screens from coast to coast. Tonight's guest lineup is a doozy. Folks, a cocktail of third rock from the Sun's Kristen Johnstone, bringing her razor-sharp wit and tales from the wild side of sitcom stardom, and the breakout queen of clean comedy, Leanne Morgan, whose Netflix special "I'm Every Woman" has Southern mamas everywhere quoting her lines like gospel at Sunday brunch. Leanne, with her bleach blonde bob that bounces like she's got springs in her sensible heels, steps into the clubhouse looking every bit the relatable powerhouse she is, dressed in a floral number that hugs her curves just right, whispering promises of Jell-O salads and life lessons learned the hard way through 3 kids, a long marriage, and more family drama than a Real Housewives reunion. The audience, a mix of Bravo superfans and sequin skepticism, erupts in applause as Andy kicks things off with his usual flair, toasting to the night's theme, Southern hospitality meets Hollywood hustle. Let's see if we can keep the peace or if it'll all go up in smoke like a backyard barbecue gone wrong. Kristen, perched on her stool like a bird of paradise ready to peck, dives right in with stories of her Broadway battles and the absurdity of playing an alien on network TV, her laughter booming like thunder over the Ozarks, drawing nods and giggles from Leanne, who chimes in with a quip about how her own life feels like an episode of an extraterrestrial soap opera with her husband's mobile home empire and her sudden dive into stand-up at an age when most folks are eyeing retirement communities with shuffleboard courts. The banter flows smoother than sweet tea at first, Andy playing maestro, conducting the conversation with questions that peel back layers like an onion at a potluck, probing Leanne on her journey from door-to-door jewelry sales to sold-out arenas, where she'd charm housewives with tales of toddler tantrums and teenage rebellions that had them snorting sweet tea out their noses. Leanne, honey, you've gone from peddling pearls to dropping truth bombs, so what's the secret sauce? Andy asks, his eyes twinkling under the studio lights that make everyone look like they've had one too many cosmopolitans. Leanne leans in, her drawl thick as molasses, recounting how it all started with a gig at a church social where her jokes about menopause hot flashes had a preacher fanning himself with a hymnal, and before she knew it, she was booking clubs from Nashville to New York, turning personal pain into punchlines that resonate with every woman who's ever hidden in the pantry with a spoon and a tub of Blue Belt to escape the chaos. Kristen jumps in, sharing her own pivot from child star dreams to sobriety stories that could fill a memoir thicker than War and Peace, and the three of them bond over the universal truth that comedy is just tragedy plus time, or in Leanne's case, tragedy plus a good strong margarita. The crowd eats it up. Whoops and hollers echoing off the purple walls of the clubhouse, as Andy segues into the fan-favorite game Clubhouse Quickfire, where Leanne's first ever appearance has her spilling on what makes a true Southern lady a manner sharp as a debutante's high heel, a pantry stocked for any apocalypse, and the grace to smile through gritted teeth when your sister-in-law brings store-bought deviled eggs to the family reunion. It's all light-hearted, laced with that undercurrent of authenticity that makes Andy's show a cultural phenomenon, a safe space where stars swap secrets and viewers feel like they're eavesdropping at the best cocktails party ever thrown. But oh, darlings, beneath the laughter, there's a storm brewing, subtle at first like distant thunder rolling in from the Gulf, as Andy, ever the provocateur with a nose for ratings gold, steers the ship toward deeper waters, asking Leanne about the raw nerve of her new sitcom Leanne, where she plays a version of herself navigating divorce at an age when divorce should come with a senior discount and a free walker. So, Leanne, This show's got you channeling heartbreak into hilarity, but tell us, was there a real Andy Cohen moment in your life where you just wanted to storm off stage? He teases, not knowing he's just lit the fuse on a firecracker disguised as a firework. Leanne pauses, her smile flickering like a candle in a crosswind, and launches into a story about a bad gig in Branson where the audience was deader than a doornail at a funeral, but she powered through because quitting ain't in the Morgan. No, it's fight or flight, and flight's for birds, not broads built like brick houses. The energy shifts ever so slightly, the audience leaning in, sensing the delicious tension that turns chit-chat into must-see TV, as Kristen nods knowingly, adding her 2 cents on the cutthroat world of casting couches and comebacks. Andy, sensing the spark, pours another round of club sodas, a non-alcoholic for the teetotalers in the Hawaiian toast to resilient women who turn lemons into lemonade, or in Leanne's world, into lemon bars with a meringue top so high it touches the heavens. Yet, as the clock ticks toward the commercial break, Andy's next question hangs in the air like smoke from a just extinguished cigarette. Leanne, your comedy's all about family feuds and forgiveness, but what's the one clash you never saw coming? The one that made you question if the spotlight's worth the sunburn? It's innocuous on the surface, but to Leanne, fresh off a Netflix high and a sitcom launch that's got critics calling her the love child of Lucille Ball and Dolly Parton, it feels like a poke at the fresh bruise of her on-screen husband's betrayal, mirroring whispers of real-life strains in her 30-plus-year marriage to Chuck, the mobile home magnate who's more salt of the earth than silver screen. She laughs it off at first, a throaty chuckle that fills the room, but her eyes are those tell-all windows to the soul betray a flicker of fire, the kind that simmers slow but burns hot when provoked. The audience holds its breath, the studio lights suddenly feeling a tad too bright, too exposing, as if the very walls of the clubhouse are leaning in to catch every syllable. And just like that, what started as a cozy confab spirals toward the spectacular, setting the stage for a clash that'll echo from tabloids to Twitter feeds faster than you can say bravo, bravo, bravo. But we're just getting warmed up. Yeah, Alice, stick around as the gloves come off and the Southern Belle reveals her bite. Word count, 1024. Character count, 5,823. As the second act of this televised tango unfolds, the clubhouse vibe thickens like gravy on a cold morning, with Andy Cohen, ever the master mixer of mirth and mayhem, circling back to Leanne Morgan's meteoric rise with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel dipped in champagne. Leanne, darling, you've got mamas from Mobile to Milwaukee memorizing your monologue. Yes, but let's get real. In a world where everyone's got a podcast and a punchline, how do you keep it authentic when the suits start scripting your soul? He probes, his voice that velvet baritone that could soothe a savage beast or incite one, depending on the day. Leanne, settled into her stool like it's an old porch swing, crosses her legs with the poise of a woman who's wrangled toddlers and tabloids alike, and unleashes a torrent of truth that's equal parts testimonial and tirade. She regales the room with yarns from her early days, hawking baubles door to door in the sweltering Tennessee heat, where every knock was a gambly would it be a sale or a sermon on the sins of vanity. Andy, sugar, I learned authenticity the hard way, she drawls, her accent wrapping around the words like kudzu on a fence post, when folks slammed doors in my face faster than you can say bless your heart. But the ones who listened, they saw themselves in my stories of stretch marks and school bake sales gone bust. And that's when I realized comedy ain't about being funny, it's about being seen. The audience murmurs in agreement, a wave of empathy rippling through the crowd like a revival tent. Hallelujah, with Kristen Johnston piping up from her perch, her own tales of typecasting and triumphs adding fuel to the fire of female fort.